Welcome back to Jacqueline Sproul's The Delegate. Today is June the 16th of 2023. And my topic today is what is really going on. Now I'm going to start off with the district city councils. And the only one I can really prefer to or tell you about is the 48217 district council. Now, this is a segment based on what's going on in the community. Now, we have a community called South Detroit, and it's located between 4th Street and we're talking about Otter Drive downriver area. In the zip code 48217. Now, I've tried in many ways to talk to the city council that's in the local district, which we are at districts instead of at large. So when I try to speak to the city council that is a elected official in the community, she goes to tell the constituents that she's talked to me or she's tried to talk to me or she's answered the phone. This is what she's basically saying on public record. When in fact, she's not answering her phone. She's not talking to the constituents in the area. Half of the people don't even know who she is. And when the meetings come up in community center, which she at first claimed that was her monthly meeting, now have been reduced to her staff. Her staff comes in and give away paperwork that has no strategy of anything of moving this district forward. We have a Marathon gas station that is trying to buy up all the property. Meanwhile, while they're trying to buy up all the property, there's no resources in the community. So they have reduced the community to having nothing, so you can sell your property or you can get out the way. But once you sell your property, once you get to the point where it's reduced to nothing but an industry, what I believe, and this is just my opinion, what I believe is you cannot just make the whole neighborhood or district a industry. So what's going to happen once you sell all the property off and you do what you necessarily need to do to move from the area, what they're going to do, and they is the people who wants to come in and revitalize the community. So they're going to build plazas, they're going to build stores and resources after they remove the individuals they don't want in the community. And at this point in time, while I'm stating this, okay, we can look at the outcome and see the factual information that I'm saying is going on. You practically have no one in the community owning their own home anymore. They're building apartments that they're claiming that it's affordable, but takes the whole entire person's income to be able to afford the apartments. Now, statistically, this is done by strategies that they feel that is more pertinent than what you are worthy of. I have been told that during a meeting that individuals from the outside do not want to come in and build no stores or resources because it's not a functional community. Now, what is functional? Functional means, or dysfunctional means, that is individuals in the community they don't want in the community. Or it's a district or city that they want to change. But meanwhile, most of the people who owns their home are sitting in a community with no resources. Now, I understand you're trying to change a community or try to change a community, but what does you do, or what is the practice for individuals who own businesses and property in the community when they have no resources? Now, I have read different documentations where how they're trying to amend the property taxes, but the whole point is that if you have nothing in your community, how are you still paying taxes? That's one question. How are you still paying property taxes? As in the amount that most of the individuals in this community of 48217 is paying. Because you have nothing, no resources to basically assess. Now, we might have to bring in statistics, break down the documentations to actually show people why it matters. But it does. And then you have managers in the community that we are supposed to be able to work with as a community, as voters, and especially my title as a delegate. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not referring to individuals who has a title to be at special cause or special purposes. But I am saying if you have a elected system that works correctly, then you're supposed to work with the people who is elected in the community to solve the problems. You have people been put in place as appointees. It's basically looked at as more in a verbal way than the elected officials. So if you have that kind of system, then this is why we have so many problems when it comes to the voters being given the correct information. Because if you are appointed, you're going by whoever appointed you, you're going to go by their preferences. Whoever told you that you was going to be able to sit in that chair without being elected by the people, you're going to basically go by their preference because they actually gave you a job. The ones who are elected by the people, they are coming from the perspective of the people. They want to see the people be worthy, not the preference of someone who appointed me to that chair. At this point in time, I have called out, and I'm calling out for all the delegates to get together. And once we do get together, to basically go over the dysfunction that you have in your community with the officials and bring it to Front Street to get a solution to resolving the problems. Now, I understand that it's a lot of individuals out there that's in part of different teams on different city councils committees, and they don't want to strike the broom handle or the persons who feeding them. But it's not about a system of elections. Is not about being loyal to someone who's not being pertinent to everyone. Being loyal as an official is to the people. That's the whole purpose of you serving or becoming a chair or committee or team, to work for the community that can't really speak for themselves when it comes to politics, to take them politics amendments and make sure that the people are receiving the things they necessarily need. Here's how certain committees mess up, teams mess up. It's when they look at that person that was elected in as an official as one goal, as this is her goal, and the only goal I'm looking at is what she's saying instead of what the people are saying. Because that's who put her in office. Eventually, that put you in office. So we need to come together as delegates in the city, urban city. We have delegates that comes together all the time in the districts of the suburban counties, and they stick with each other to make their communities better. It's one thing that the urban city do not do. Now that's my personal perspective because that's what I have experienced. But the thing at this point is that we're going backwards in the urban city. Is no fundings coming into the communities, although the federal fundings are being given. I can't express this enough to the individuals. It's just not being functional, placed correctly. It's being placed in certain groups so certain groups can get together during an election and elect that person back in. It's not being spread among all of the community when it comes to the congressional districts in the urban city. So, excuse me, what I'm trying to get to people to understand is that when you have an election and it counts for your vote in your district, but your district council is not doing nothing for you, how does the elected system think that those people are going to, they're not going to vote? But then you have certain officials will feel that who cares? We don't need their votes because I got this organization over here that I done gave a lot of money, that regardless that it's supposed to go into other districts, I know they're going to gather the votes that I need to stay in office. This is the mentality you're dealing with at this point in time. Now, if anyone wants to say or debate me about it, I have no problem with that. But this is what I see. This is my perspective. And I've never truly, as being a child growing up in this district of 48217, never seen this district here under the horrible leadership that is under at this point in time. When I grew up in this district, they had supermarkets, stores, hamburger places, retail shops, anything you wanted. You was just in a community that was a downriver, diverse community that was beautified. But now you have one group trying to throw one group against the other group. You have people being put in office by nomination instead of elections. You have people being nominated to positions where they know nothing about the positions, but will dispute you when you're trying to tell people about this position. The reason why is they want the position to go the way they want it to go. The perspective of how they was taught and how they feel it should go, instead of by the rules and regulations of the statutes of the electric system, the election system. So at this point, I, as the delegate, is calling out Gabrielle San Diego and any other official who is not doing their job in this position, in this area 48217. And if we, as delegates, get together, we can have a better community by speaking up. I understand that a lot of delegates or people run for these positions not knowing what really to do and what to expect among the position, or just keep quiet and get on certain teams so they can get a little contribution here and there. But that's not what the elected delegate is for. The elected delegate was elected for the people so the political side of voting can be told why certain people should get in office. As long as we have misinformation and individuals getting in office locally, I'm talking about at this point, without the knowledge of what they're supposed to do for the community, we're going to continue to have a dysfunctional community, a community that has nothing, no resources. And I'm not saying this just to open a floor of likes, because I don't care if you like me or not. I'm here to do a perspective when it comes to the election of the position that I was elected for. And all you have to do, if you feel that I'm just long-winded in conversation, look up the information. It don't take anything now because you got Google. And Google the information. Google the perspective of what your city council is supposed to do in your community. Google their duties. Google their obligations. Google what federal fundings are for when it comes to the communities. Google what managers are supposed to do in your community. Google what your commissioners are supposed to do. Your state representatives are supposed to do. All you have to do is Google their duties, their obligations. When you sit in a community as 48217 and has no resources, not even a supermarket to get fresh food, when the EBT program was put in, and you can Google it, on the perspective of feeding children fresh food and fresh vegetables. This is the reason why the program of EPD was put in. But when you don't have that in the community, you have no schools, you have no retail shops, you have no auto shops, you have nothing to function as a community, how can you ever have prosperity? You can't. It's just going to go down and down and down to the point where the individual industries take over and then they are revitalized. But you won't be in the community anymore. And harsh to say, most of the elderly people will be in nursing homes or living with their family members without any independence. So I understand that a lot of people have given up, but this is still your life and you're still alive. And my recommendation is meet up, speak up. This is Jacqueline Sprouse, the Delegate. Hit that like channel. Follow the podcast because it's going to get more interesting.